So Owen Dougherty, Onukiavage,
Yes.
from N.A.M.I of Scranton, Northeast PA.
Well, I have to give my day job a plug.
Okay.
I'm the Behavioral Health Community Liaison at the Wright Center, and then I wear the hat of President of N.A.M.I. I also have lived experience in that I live with bipolar illness. And finally, I'm a certified peer specialist supervisor. So those are the hats I'm wearing today.
Okay. How about a little more about yourself?
Okay. Well,
Go back to, I don't know, wherever you want to go.
Well, since I was 19, I was diagnosed with bipolar. It was manic depression back then. I'm not from Scranton. I grew up out in Indiana, Pennsylvania, and married a girl from Dunmore, which brought me up here. Mm-hmm. I've really gotten involved with mental health over the last 30 years. So, so it's become a passion and a life's work.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you. Mm-hmm. Now you. See, I know you, though.
Not me. That's kind of scary.
No, it's all good.
Marie Onukiavage. I am the executive director of N.A.M.I Northeast Region now. Used to be N.A.M.I Scranton. We changed our name because we are serving a much bigger community. We're used to be kind of focused in Scranton, but now we've got Lackawanna, Susquehanna, Wayne County. Actually, branching out into Pike County, so we're Northeast Region now.
Yeah.
I've been the executive director for 23 years. Born and raised in N.A.P.A.
Yep.
Archibald, then Jessup, back to Archibald again. So I'm a Valley girl.
It's awesome. Mm-hmm. And then you were a very important part of when we did the Lackawanna County Suicide Prevention Alliance. So if it wasn't for you, that we wouldn't have gotten that off the ground. So thank you for everything there. And that's been.
There's a number of us that have.
Well, there is, but everybody played an important role.
Very important,
because it's really taken off and it's going terrific, I think.
I'm really pleased. The first responder meeting last night. We've got trainings planned. We've got resource pages going up on websites soon.
Yeah. Well, that's what I like, is that we're actually doing something. We're not just talking every month.
And you've gotten such a wide variety of people from the community that are there to help.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Yeah.
So let's talk about N.A.M.I. I'll let you guys talk about, how it started and how you got involved with that.
Okay. Marie, why don't you handle that and I'll fill in?
Well, I'll go back to the beginning in Michigan. Over 40 years ago, several parents, moms, sitting around a kitchen table in Michigan said, our children have serious mental illness, and we want to do everything that we can to support them, to understand their illness, to help them do the best that they can do, live the best lives they can live, and also to take care of us. So let's form this alliance. And the National Alliance on Mental Illness was created. Mm-hmm. And from there, it's grown to have state chapters in state offices in every state and affiliates across the country. We're a grassroots membership organization. So our membership, every affiliate is headed by a local board of directors, mm-hmm. and so we kind of steer our own ship. We have a lot of guidance from the national office, certain missions we have to follow, primarily to improve the lives of anyone affected by mental illness. But after that, we kind of set our own course based upon the needs of the community that we live in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was lucky because my wife and I found N.A.M.I about 25 years ago when we lived down in Harrisburg.
Okay.
And up to that point, most people didn't talk about their mental health concerns. So, you feel like you're the only one at times. And going to a N.A.M.I convention, seeing people with lived experience, seeing their family members that are there to support them, it was just opened my eyes wide open. And it was just a great experience to find out that there's an organization out there that not only helps the individual with mental illness, but also the family members.
Yeah. Well, this is our segue into May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month. Mm-hmm. So, that's why we kind of waited till now to do this part of our show. But, I have the brochure here, and how can people get in touch? What's the best way for them to do? Is call you on the phone, walk in the office?
Call us on the phone, 570-342-1047. Reach out to us, email info@NAMI.NEPA.org. Our website's NAMI.NEPA.org. Same thing, Facebook and Instagram, NAMI.NEPA. Yeah. You can find us. Try to keep all of them as up to date as possible. So if you want to know what's going on, visit any of those media outlets, or again, just give us a call if you want to know more about us and what we do.
And I'm going to put Marie on the spot here a little bit. The other way is to contact our board of directors. We have a fairly large board. I'm the president. Terry Lacey is the vice president. We have Kelly Ankerbrandt as the secretary, and Kate Spencer as the treasurer. And then we have my wife, Charlene, who's a board member. We have Bill Buck, Ed Schoner, Helen May Newcomber. Help me out.
Kevin Brown.
Oh, Kevin Brown. And is that everyone? That's why I put her on the spot, because I wasn't going to do it, and I didn't have it written down, but I thought we're going to mention some names, and so you can reach out to those folks in the community.
So who's reaching out? Like who's because we have the Suicide Prevention Alliance. We have so many different groups, grant counseling. Yeah. Now, and can they reach you through the 211 number with the state, or is that not part of that? I don't know. I didn't know.
I am not sure. We're on Neighborly, which is a website that has all the resources in the community that's comparable to 211. 1 in 5 of us, and I say us because it could be anybody, 1 in 5 of us are affected by mental illness. But I recently heard somebody say, and it's the truth, 5 in 5 of us are affected, because if Owen shared that he has lived experience, everybody that he is in touch with, it can be affected in some way. Either they're educated through his talking about mental illness, or if he's struggling in some way, by helping him. If your child's teacher has a mental illness, if your child's teacher has a child with mental illness, it's going to affect their behavior. It's going to affect them. So all of us are affected. So I think it's really important that all of us learn as much as we can about mental illness, about mental health, about when we go from struggling with something, we all experience anxiety. We all experience difficult days, but when does it become a mental illness? When does it become something that needs to be addressed in some way versus, okay, I've got to get through this, it's situational, and I'll be fine. And NAMI can provide a lot of information on that. NAMI can provide resources that folks can go to for evaluations, for treatment. They can provide support through individuals with lived experience, whether persons with mental illness like Owen, or family members who can share their experience, what helped, what didn't help so much.
So now we're in a pandemic. We've been in a pandemic, which has been a nightmare. That had to increase business for you. And, we'll go all the way to the young kids that are stuck at home now. They don't have their interaction with their friends. They don't go to school. They're working off their computers, locked in their bedrooms for days. That's getting rough.
Yeah.
That has to be playing on everybody.
I just read an article in the Scranton Times a week or so ago. I think it was April 15th. 31% increase in ER visits from children aged 12 to 17. 31% over this past year, from last April until this year. 31% is a lot, and that age. Anybody who's a parent knows the 12 to 17-year-old age is a tough age to begin with. Turbulent times, so there's some difficulties to begin with. Add everything that you just mentioned that goes along with the pandemic, and it's even harder.
Sure. And working at the Wright Center in behavioral health, we're seeing a significant increase of people seeking services. And we have psychiatrists and we have therapists. We have the Center of Excellence, which is substance abuse disorders. And we're just across the board seeing more people coming on, knocking on our door, calling the Wright Center looking for support. And it can be months, 1 or 2 months to get in for an appointment.
Yeah.
And that's the same across the board, throughout all of our region with mental health providers.
Well, I don't know how you get in, and you hate to see if the doctors are going to start just throwing meds at these young kids and mistreating, misdiagnosing.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that I'm thinking about.
Well, and here's the thing to be really hopeful about. I said about that, especially when we're talking young kids. Turbulent time, lots going on with kids, but also lots of flexibility. Kids are adaptable. Kids are flexible. What kind of messages are they getting from their parents, from the community? What kind of supports are they getting? I believe, as difficult as it is, I believe we can get through this. I believe our kids will be okay. I believe they'll come out, many of them will come out better. I know many of them are struggling. I know N.A.M.I provide a number of education programs in the community. One of them is called Ending the Silence, and it's an education program for school-age kids. Last year, we offered that program to all of the 9th grade students in Valley View School District, Valley View High School. The guidance counselor reached out. She said, the kids are struggling. They need something. Ending the Silence is a good program because it gives them information, tells them what are normal teenage feelings and when is it a problem, and who they can reach out to, gives them some skills, what they can do to take care of themselves, and also includes several individuals who have that lived experience with mental illness to talk about their experience, how they found recovery, and to inspire hope, which is primarily what N.A.M.I does. A lot of what we do is peer-based. It's inspiring hope. Owen sharing his story, his 20-plus year experience with bipolar disorder, being symptomatic at times, but he can share those experiences very honestly and inspire people.
I should thank you. You just made me much younger than I am because I was 19 when I was diagnosed, and that's over 40 years ago, or about 40 years ago. So thank you for making me a little younger. But on your question there, you did mention about misdiagnosis and things. I mean, mental health isn't like going in with a broken arm.
Right.
It does take, the psychiatrist needs to assess your symptoms, and, we'll try and provide a medication that will work for you. However, sometimes it takes 1 or 2 different medications, to determine what is right for you and how to treat the illness. I mean, it can be a process to get the right meds and to, and I always recommend therapy as well as psychiatry. That's what has worked for me the best, having both 2 professionals keeping an eye on me.
Well, there's someone in particular that I'm thinking about, which I won't mention names, but when they hit rock bottom, it's hard to diagnose, because they're really at the bottom.
Yeah.
You gotta, I guess you gotta work them out of that first, and
I think depending upon what their symptoms are. I mean, meds certainly, there's a lot of controversy and there's a lot of misdiagnosis. I'm of the belief that there's a lot of people who maybe are prescribed meds that don't need them as much, and there's a lot of people who need meds and aren't getting them, just like a lot of other illnesses.
My experience has been, I started out with lithium, which was at the time back in the 80s. That for bipolar illness, that was the gold standard. And, I was on that for 30 years. It worked well for me. But then associated with lithium is some kidney. You have to keep an eye on the kidneys. And so I needed to transition into a different medication. And, that can be difficult. So there's not one magic pill out there.
Yeah.
It does take a while sometimes it takes a while to figure out the best treatment.
And whether it's situational or a chemical imbalance, like a chronic illness like bipolar disorder or one of the others, some meds can help to deal with the symptoms while you're getting through it. Owen had mentioned, something very, very important. This is what we talk about at N.A.M.I. Treatment doesn't just involve that diagnosis and medication from the doctor. It involves therapy and it involves a support system. Without all three of those, it could be difficult to get through. I look at meds and treatment kind of as like the blueprint and the tools that you need to build a house. Mm-hmm. If you only have one of them, it could be difficult to build a house. But if you have both, and I know from folks with experience, especially, talking to somebody who had been diagnosed with PTSD, who chose not to use medication, whose time in treatment, whose experience with medication or with PTSD was so much longer and more difficult, mm-hmm. because her illness just really made it difficult for her to take advantage of what therapy was offering her and what the supports were offering her. She had wished that she did use medication for that. In her case, she felt it would have been temporary. For some folks, because it's a chronic illness, it's just like another medication that you're going to take to be well. But I think that's a very, I think it's a decision that should be made after one educates himself as best as they could in conversations with their doctor. Somebody who's at rock bottom maybe needs some meds to be able to take advantage of the other therapeutic mm-hmm. supports that are being offered them. Otherwise, it can be really difficult, like I said, to do the other things if you can't get out of bed. You're so depressed.
Sure. Well, it seems like too sometimes they get started, they take a few steps forward, and then all of a sudden they're 4 or 5 steps back again.
Sure.
That's what I've been witnessing. So it is very difficult. I'm just, we're getting towards the end of hopefully the pandemic. We're coming in the summer now. The weather's going to be better. Everybody's going to have to start to feel better. So I'm hoping that that helps on top of everything, mm-hmm. Now, last week we had Matt Gaitis from Camp Freedom on and the work that they're doing out there. So they are, taking, with the post the stress disorder from the mm-hmm. for the military folks and EMS and police and everybody, and they have their hunts and things mm-hmm. they do there. But, they're also dealing with folks there that had issues with drugs and, but it takes a whole village, really does.
And that's going back to that, 1 in 5 and 5 in 5, sure. All of us. If we're healthier, our community is healthier.
Yeah, and I'd like to speak to the village concept because I have my wife, I have 4 brothers and 2 sisters, and a host of friends. And I'm out. I'm very forthright about my illness, and I go out and I speak about it. I'm here today. I'm not ashamed of living with bipolar.
No.
And having friends and family members, it's a heck of a team. And then you add the psychiatrist and therapist, and as you mentioned, it takes a village, and unfortunately, not everybody has that support.
So tell everybody that are out there listening that maybe has an issue or has somebody in their family has an issue, and they're having trouble getting started or getting this person on track. How do you deal with that? How do you make it happen?
Well, one thing that happens to a lot of folks is they show up at one of our support group meetings. The support group meeting, I don't know how it works, but it seems that there's someone there at the support group meeting to support the person that's just coming in.
Yep.
And we see it all the time. A parent, their child just has their first bout with mental illness, and sure enough, there's someone there that has gone through the same experience that can offer hope and can offer solutions on how to get around the mental health community.
Yeah.
Getting them there is the hard part. When you have the parent and we'll say the child that are in a screaming match or something like that, and you just can't get together. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get that person.
Well,
how do you convince this person
well,
that they need help?
Our group, Owen mentioned our support groups. Our support groups are for family members. So, I mean, if you have a loved one who's really, really symptomatic and you're having a really hard time connecting with them, first and foremost, you got to take care of yourself. Find support for yourself. Find a N.A.M.I group, find that support, find that encouragement, find that. We don't always have all of the answers. We provide a lot of support, a lot of acceptance, a lot of understanding. And it is, like Owen said, there's this magic happens. It's a really cool thing when somebody comes into a group for the first time, a family member whose loved one is maybe really, really, maybe is hospitalized for the first time, whatever it is, they're really struggling. And they'll introduce themselves, but they'll say, "I'm not going to talk. I just want to see what this is about." And halfway through the meeting, you see their face. Like it's like a light bulb goes on. Mm-hmm. I found my people. I found people, because being alone, like Owen said, he's very very open. Most people, many, many, many people are not. And one of NAMI's, another like real mission of ours is to let people know that they're not alone. Mm-hmm. Being alone it's a frightening, it's a scary, it's a difficult place to be when you realize there's a whole room full of people who have experienced what I'm experiencing. Sure. It gives you a lot of hope.
In our support group meetings, I named the lip board of the N.A.M.I board, and I forgot Mike Joyce. And okay. Mike Joyce, he comes to just about every support group meeting, and he is fantastic. And I don't want to get Manuka mad at me, so I wanted to get Mike's name out there.
That's good. But that's good to know.
Good job. Mike has a talent in dealing with situations, and as far as people coming into our support group meetings, and he just has a way of talking to people and of sharing his experiences, and makes a big difference at the support group meetings.
Yeah, and we don't always have all of the answers, but we try, and there's folks will share. You're asking, how do you get through to your loved one? Folks will share what worked for them, what didn't work for them. Sometimes learning how to accept your loved one, coming to a point where you're accepting them and they're not feeling judged, and they're not feeling pushed, and they're not feeling overwhelmed by you, their family member. Sometimes that can help them. I think Owen can speak to his relationship with his wife and his brothers, and what a difference. We can't always fix everybody, but sometimes the way we respond to them helps them want to.
And my experience really goes back to my parents. When I was first diagnosed with bipolar illness, it was manic depression at the time. My mother and father just said to me, "Hey, it could be diabetes, it could be cancer, it could be any illness that you have that you're going to take medication for the rest of your life." And with that mindset, that's how I approached it. Mm-hmm. I just knew I'll be on medications for the rest of my life, and that's going to help me. And that's just the way they presented it to me, and that's the way I've always looked at it.
Well, I think what makes it difficult sometimes too is, if it's a child and it's the parent that's trying to help, and the child doesn't want to listen and doesn't. That's the hard part.
Well, and again, helping the parent to learn how to communicate. Yeah. We have education programs, several of them. We have something called Family to Family, starting up on May 18th. 8-session evidence-based program created by our national office. 8 sessions. We're doing it online, 1 night a week for 8 weeks. Folks learn everything from understanding the illness, kind of what's going on in the brain with the illness, communication, how to communicate with their loved one, how to communicate their needs with their loved one, and how to take care of themselves. When we're in a better place, when we're more educated, we can respond differently. And it's that communication. I mean, I go back to, I think about when my daughter was about 13 and no, no mental illness, just that those turbulent teens. And all of a sudden we're both like, I don't even know how it started. I'm screaming at her. She's screaming at me. We're screaming back and forth. And one of us said, "Why are we screaming?" The other one said, "I don't even know." But once somebody loses control, you lose control of the situation. So through our family to family, families learn how to not lose control.
Okay.
How to not make its situation worse. We might not be able to fix everything, but how do we not make it worse? And sometimes that helps the person find recovery.
And I want to give a plug to the program that I'll be facilitating, which is peer-to-peer. So it'll be me and another individual with the lived experience of having a mental illness, talking with and providing an 8-week course on how people that are new to mental illness, how they can navigate the system, what different things mean, and so it's an 8-week course of educating people about their mental illness, and I just went through the course myself, and it's very helpful.
Okay, so May 18th starts family to family.
Yep.
So they can go on NAMI's website.
Well, give us a call. Give us
Okay.
a call. I'll walk them through. Somebody will walk them through the registration, or at least give them information on it. May 18th, and the peer-to-peer starts May 20th. Family.
Oh, so that's going to kind of run simultaneously.
Same week. Yeah,
Okay.
simultaneously. Yep.
All right, family.
And they're free, and folks get a, I'm going to say 3-inch thick binder of information that they can go back to when they need to. Good program. I mean, the feedback we get afterwards is this class, family to family, this class saved my marriage. My wife has bipolar disorder. We weren't communicating. This class helped me learn how to communicate with my daughter, and now we can talk with each other, and we have a better relationship. It makes a difference.
Right, and they have the strength of N.A.M.I behind them. These are all developed by N.A.M I. They've been tested, evidence-based. So, it's a good program that has helped me, and I'm sure it'll help others.
Yeah. Okay.
N.A.M.I also has something called N.A.M I Basics, which is that could be found on the N.A.M I website, not our website, but just NAMI.org website. Google N.A.M I Basics. That's an on-demand online course for parents of younger children who are struggling. They complete it at their convenience, at their own pace, and again, understanding the illness, understanding the resources in the community, how to access those resources, and how to take care of themselves.
Okay. Well, that's important because when you're dealing with a family member, everything's off the table as far as rule books, I think. I mean, you have it, but
you know what, and it's difficult. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming for the family member. It's overwhelming for the person who is experiencing the symptoms. And so, having that whole support system, like Owen said, somebody you can talk to about it at a meeting, or somebody you can reach out to. Most of our members form friendships outside of the meeting, and so they provide support to each other.
Well, when you're dealing this head to head with, we're talking about family members, but the frustration level builds between the two individuals or however many are involved.
Yeah.
And then that just escalates things. So you're making things worse.
Yeah. So learning how to get to that, to avoid that screaming match that I just described with my daughter, learning how to avoid that. How do you not make it worse? And by not making it worse, sometimes you can make it better.
Well, I'm going to urge people to check on that for May 18th and May 20th and look into some of these things.
Yeah, reach out. Like I said, give us a call or reach out via email, and we'll give you all the information. It's free. It's about 2 hours a night. What do you have? You got really nothing to lose and everything to gain.
It's important stuff. So we have the month of May coming up for mental health awareness. And what is there anything planned? Is there going to be any festivities? I know it's been tough last year, but are we?
Yeah.
What do we have happening?
Well, we have a number of things going on in the community. We decided not to do, every year for 22 years, we did a walk for mental health awareness. We didn't do it last year. We decided not to do it this year. You have to make these decisions pretty far in advance, made the decision not to do it this year. But we planned a whole host of activities that the primary goal of the walk was always to connect people, to let people know that they're not alone. And so this year we're asking our community to go green. We're doing a number of area buildings are being lit up green. Number of our commissioners are proclaiming the month of May to be Mental Health Awareness Month. We have green lanterns that we're distributing in our community. May 22nd is the designated United Day of Hope, and so we're going to distribute these green lanterns, which are just your paper lanterns with green glow sticks, and asking folks to display them on May 22nd. Again, that primary message being to let people know that even though maybe we can't all connect, we can't all get together, you're not alone. There's a whole host of people in the community, a whole community that cares about you. So there's Go Green, area organizations that are designated one day to wear green, talk about why, we're encouraging them to talk about why they're going to go green. We have... Owen,
I'm excited about one thing that's going to happen, and that's the Radisson is going to be lit up in green.
Okay.
And they do it for breast cancer awareness in September, and I'm just excited that they're going to be able to do it for mental health in May.
So. That's nice.
Yeah.
Owen he has been on cloud nine since we locked that down.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, I think we can get our county building lit up in green. Their courthouse, I'm hoping.
That would be fantastic.
That would be great. And again, it's letting people know, there are, even though we can't all get together in the same way yet, like you're saying, very soon we will be, but there's still people in the community that care. We have ribbon with the message "Find Help, Find Hope" and N.A.M.I contact information on it that we have had volunteers creating floral bows with. We had students from Wallenpaupack Area High School. So grateful for them. They stepped up and they've created maybe close to 250 bows. And it's not an easy process to take this ribbon, make it into a bow, and the teacher who I was communicating with, Emily Cacho, she conveyed to me that the kids were saying, "We're in the National Honor Society. We can figure this out. We can make these bows." And they did. They did an amazing job. And every couple of days, she drops a couple bags of bows off, and we're going to be putting those bows along every trailhead. On the Heritage Valley Trail, as well as 3, 6, 7, 8 or 9 community parks between Lackawanna, Susquehanna, and Wayne County. The Green up in Susquehanna County, and our libraries. We're having information displays in our libraries, N.A.M.I information with just little resource cards that we had created and our brochures so that people can find out about us.
So now you said earlier about Valley View, right? Valley View School District. You're in there working with the guidance people.
Yeah.
Now, so do you have a group that goes and talks to the students? Is that what you have there?
Well,
how's that work?
This year, because of COVID created a lot of barriers, but it also opened up the virtual world to us.
You're right.
And we were able to collaborate with the N.A.M.I affiliate in Bucks County. We did not have this Ending the Silence team. We didn't have young adults. We've been identifying some local ones since then. But at the time that the school reached out to us, we didn't have that team put together. So we collaborated with N.A.M.I in Bucks County. And the students at the time were virtual So they didn't care, didn't matter where they were from. Right. So we were able to do it all virtually. Now, just the other day, I met with another local school to be able to offer this with Abington Heights School District to hopefully offer the program in the fall. And by then, I'm hoping that we will have our own team, our own, presentation, and our own young adults. So if there's any young adults out there who lived experience, who would like to share their experience in order to inspire other young people, give us a call, 342-1047, and we'll get you trained to be able to do that.
Well, that's good, because I want this information out to all the schools.
Yes.
So that we can take advantage. And the more that get involved in this, the better.
Yeah. I have a few identified, but I like the program. I think any information that you give kids at that age, any kind of encouragement is a good thing. And it's created for kids. It has a lot of very timely information. It features a lot of folks that they can relate to who live with mental illness. Demi Lovato, Billie Eilish, who have been very open about their experiences with mental illness and their experience with recovery and their experience again with ongoing symptoms. Because as Owen had said, a 40-year process. It's sometimes it's situational, sometimes it's a chronic illness that's always there, but you can find recovery. You can still live a life that's productive and successful and enjoyable, as Owen can attest to.
Sure. Yeah.
So we started with, we broke it down with the kids. You have some programs going there. And then the other end of the spectrum is the elderly. And they've also suffered tremendously with isolation. And so do you deal much with those folks or not so much?
The most that because we have a lot of folks who are older who come to our support groups. They have adult children with mental illness. And so throughout this, we tried to do the best we could to stay in touch with our older folks. They're not, a handful of them aren't really interested in joining us at our virtual meetings, but stayed in touch via phone call, providing support to them in that way, checking in on them. We don't have any education programs, anything that's created specifically for the older adult, but
you're a phone call away, no matter what. Away.
Well, sure, and again, going back to that the biggest thing we provide is that support and letting people know that they're not alone, and that in itself can be very powerful.
Well, one other thing is we're very fortunate in this county, in this region, to have mental health providers that work together. Working at the Right Center, I see it every day, where we're reaching out to a provider's reaching out to us, trying to work the best that we can to get services for those people that present themselves to us. So we're fortunate in that. One thing that we need to have is, in our advocacy role, is more funding for mental health. It's been a area of the state budget that has sort of been on frozen. So those people that are watching here today, I recommend that you call your state legislator or call your county commissioner and try and get more funding for mental health. We do hear all the time when there's a tragedy that they say, oh, well, we need to bolster our mental health community. And oftentimes that's as far as it goes. It's just the talking about that. So
I can see it, and I see it at the county level. With the behavioral health department and area and aging and the different departments. I mean, we do. They get their own funding, and we do. They have some very good programs there, and I think we all work together, which. I think is a great thing. And that's something about this area and this region that we live in.
I agree. And as Owen had said, and as you're saying here, that's a real strength in our community, that the networking that goes on, we can call somebody. We do know, if somebody calls our office and says, my mom, I'm not sure what to do. This is these are the behaviors that I'm seeing, we can help them figure out who to reach out. We do have a local mental health and older adult mental health unit in Moses Taylor Hospital. There are local providers who specialize in providing treatment to older adults, providing treatment to young people, et cetera, and our folks. Our folks are aware of that.
And our providers have always been good working with NAMI. We'll have a provider come and talk to our support group meeting to give an idea about different topics that face individuals with mental illness and their families. So we're blessed with that, and we're always looking for a provider to come in and give some education around what their specialty is or what they can offer the community.
Well, hopefully we can get some more of that. Yeah. And I know. We talked about how you can get a hold. You have the phone number, but also through the county website and through our the Suicide Prevention Alliance. You're part of that, so the numbers and information is there. And that's what's nice. What I've learned over this past year, which seems like 10 years, but that our county does have a lot of resources.
We do, and Owen had said about going to conferences, going to, being a part of N.A.M.I, being a part of a national organization, you have the ability to talk with people from all over the country. And we are blessed. I mean, we can always need more resources, need more funding. There is an incredible lack of psychiatrists across the country. We're feeling it here, but the whole country is feeling it. You can go, one psychiatrist, in some of the more rural areas, one psychiatrist in a 500-mile radius. We have a little bit more resources than that. Still a lot of barriers to treatment that, like Owen said, that the waiting list can be really long because we just don't have enough. But when you reach out to one of the providers, I think, or somebody else in the community, we do the best that we can to meet the needs as best as we can. If we can't get them in, somebody can talk to them. Somebody can, and our local crisis, if somebody is in crisis, where to the point where either they're in danger or somebody else is in danger because of their crisis, they're seen pretty quickly.
Yeah, and the provider of crisis is generally Scranton Counseling Center, and they just opened up a beautiful new facility.
Yep.
And we work with them every day at the Wright Center to try and get coverage. Whether they're calling for a referral to us or we're referring to them, and it just goes back to the community working together to try and get services to those in need.
It's a awesome facility. I was just there last week or so ago. So that's going to
really
be
is
very helpful. And you got the Wright Center's right in there.
Yeah, we have a medical practice right there working with Scranton Counseling. So it's a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a beautiful facility. The windows in there, where they were before, and circumstances are what they are. They were in the middle of a block, so you had some windows in front and a few small windows in back. And that's wherever you are in a city block, that's the experience. Yeah. Where they are now, the natural light, they kept all the windows on that, and it's the corner of Cherry and Cedar.
Yes.
Cedar
and Cherry.
Yeah.
If anybody's interested, take a ride by and look at all those windows and just
great.
Imagine how good that is for your mental health.
Absolutely. Just going to the nice place.
Yeah.
That's good. What else? What else do you have that I
didn't
think of?
Actually, the week that the family to family and the peer to peer starts, it's a busy week for N.A.M.I. We have the last couple months we've been having guest presentations that are not a part of our support group, that are in addition to our support groups. And last month we had a comedian share her experience with bipolar disorder and PTSD, and we had about 50 people join us online, which I was pretty impressed for an online event. She was great, very, very honest, very frank in her experience, using comedy to deal with it, but in a very respectful way. This month, on Monday, May 17th, we are having Janine Luby, a local girl who does something called laughter yoga, and where she teaches us how to use laughter to be healthier. We know she and she'll talk about this at the event. We know how beneficial laughter is to our mental health. The body can't differentiate between simulated laughter or real laughter. So if you're simulating laughter, you get the same health benefits as if you're sitting in a comedy show. So she's going to teach us how to use yoga and use this laughter simulation to be a little bit healthier. And then we'll close it out with a relaxation yoga because, of course, in the evening we want people to laugh and be healthy and then relax and be ready for the evening.
Well, one of my advocacy points I want to make today is we've been so impressed with the Suicide Prevention Alliance. And there's a lot of people with the mental health community that are a part of that and a lot of other folks from the community. One thing I'd like to see us start is a behavioral health, mental health alliance to shine a light on mental health concerns that some of them coincide with suicide and there's other things that do not.
Right.
So that's what I'm making my pitch for today. So any politicians like yourself that want to get involved in something like that, we at N.A.M.I would be welcome to help with that.
It certainly is. I hear you. And quite honestly, that's part of the Suicide Alliance, really. And maybe we need to look at, that doesn't have to be the name, but the main thing is we got started.
Sure.
You came to my office, and I think it was, I don't even know, 2 months later, we were up and running.
Our first meeting was in December, and already things are happening. We've broken down into several focus groups, and one of them is anybody who's ever had to visit the ER. For a physical health illness, a mental health illness is even more difficult. But anybody who visits the ER knows it's not always pleasant. It's not. It can be difficult, and there's a lot of factors. There's a lot of reasons. So we've got a group that's really focused on how to improve that experience. We have a group that's focusing on youth and mental health and suicide in schools, and a group that's focused on our supporting our first responder needs, and they're all doing things already. We've been meeting monthly, and then those subgroups have been meeting monthly also and working and doing things. We have a resource pages created. We have trainings lined up. We have curriculums. We're working on curriculums to improve those experiences. So things are happening with that.
It's great. And, unfortunately, the suicide part of it is the ultimate ending to the situation, which we're trying to interfere with this whole group. So it is mental health. Yeah. And I'm just happy that I was part of it and we were able to get it up and running. And
definitely grateful that you said,
that was easy.
Yeah, let's make this happen. And the commitment has been pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Oh, the community has embraced it, and it it's really a positive for this area, no doubt about it. And we look forward to seeing the results of it.
Yep. So. Well, it's going to be an ongoing thing. That's just the way it has to be. We can't stop. But I'm just happy that I'm part of it now, and going to continue that.
We're involved. N.A.M.I is very closely involved with the CIT program, the Crisis Intervention Team, which teaches law enforcement and other first responders how to respond to somebody in a crisis in a way that can help to de-escalate the crisis and have a safer outcome. And you just have to turn on the news to know how difficult things can be right now for our first responders. This group, the suicide prevention group that's addressing the first responders' needs, the CIT program that addresses the first responders' needs, are two more efforts in our community that I'm really, really proud to be a part of, and even more proud of the response from our community to those programs. That CIT program about 6 years ago, during one of the trainings, one of the class participants said, "This is great information, but what about us? What about our mental health? What about our needs?" And so through CIT, we tried to really focus on how to help first responders be healthier and be more aware of their own need to take care of their own mental health so that they can be in a better place. Kind of going back to that, the education that N.A.M.I provides to family members to be able to respond in a way that doesn't escalate a situation, doesn't make it worse, offering this same information to law enforcement to respond to a situation, to not make it worse, but also be healthier themselves. Because if we're not healthy, if we're not in a good place, how can we support somebody else who's not healthy, not in a good place?
All the years I've been involved in EMS and being a first responder for well over 40 years, I never really had any kind of training like that. So, and that's just really starting now.
Yeah.
And there's people, there's things that I've done and had to do and have seen that I'll never forget.
Yeah.
And some people can deal with it better than others, but no, we never had any training like that. So I think that's all good. Yeah. Definitely good stuff.
I think being aware of our own vulnerability, and I think to bring it back to, the beginning of this conversation talking about COVID, I think it made us all more aware of our own vulnerability. How do you prepare for something like this? How do you, no matter how healthy you are, how do you acquire the skills to live through a global pandemic that required you to isolate and created fear? I don't want to say, and led to, fear, and some of it very warranted, because I think every one of us knows somebody who was really adversely affected by it. So there's a lot of fear. How do you prepare for that?
Well, you run for election, you become a commissioner, and you get a worldwide pandemic thrown at you, and you go to your shelf and you grab the handbook and said, "Wait a minute, there is no handbook."
Right?
So, and everybody got together and we worked and we figured it out, and we got getting through it.
And I think that's what you just kept doing it. And N.A.M.I, folks with mental illness, family members, you keep doing. And we have that handbook. N.A.M.I has it. Family to family has that handbook. Peer to peer has that handbook.
And you have so many people that want to help.
CIT, when we do that training, they don't get a handbook anymore. They get a flash drive, but still all that information.
And Marie, you can speak to this better than I can. The CIT has been embraced by the community, by the police departments and the first responders. We really have a wide variety in this community.
It is something, like I said, I'm very proud that N.A.M.I's a part of. It has been. I'd say almost every department in our county has had at least one person trained. Most of them several persons trained. We also do something that's called mental health first aid. CIT is a 40-hour training all at once, 1 week. Mental health first aid is an 8-hour training, and it complements and or builds upon CIT. So every again, mental health first aid is 8 hours. There's some departments that have had every officer trained in one or the other.
Well,
they have, some of them have that little bit, and honestly, we prefer kind of like a 25 to 40% trained in CIT, the rest of the mental health first aid, because you want kind of those officers who are specialists in that. You don't really want every officer trained in CIT, because you want them to be specialists.
Yeah.
You do want to have every department have somebody, or you want every department to have somebody on shift at all times.
Right. And I think our alliance, we have a lot of the police departments and state police, so they're getting the picture, and they're some of them stepped up to the plate just because of that.
Yeah. It really is. Our community is a lot about relationships. N.A.M.I, the relationship that we have in the community with our providers, with our law enforcement through getting to know them through these trainings, the relationships that CIT leads to makes a difference. And we are blessed in our community because not everybody has that.
No, we have some good people. It's small town. There's a lot of help, and that's my goal was to get the information out, let people know that there's all kinds of help. Yeah. The 211 number, the county website, N.A.M.I's website, Scranton Council. I mean, they're all it's all there. They're all there to help. Yeah. So that's all just great stuff. Phone number 342-1047.
That's it.
Right? Yep. Okay. 846 Jefferson Avenue in Scranton.
That's the address. That's the mailing address.
Okay, where do we go?
Give a call because we're in the community a lot. Yeah. We're not always in the office. You stop in, chances are, 70-30, somebody's going to be there.
Yeah, well, that's all right. Make the phone call.
Make the phone call.
And you're going to talk. I'm sorry, Marie. You're going to talk to Marie, or we also have Joanna Van Tyne, who works in the office. So between one of those, we'll be able to assist you.
Okay. Yeah. No. Awesome. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you for that, and I thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having us here.
Fantastic.
This is all good information, and it's very important. And you just got to keep spreading the word and keep working hard and
making those connections. That's what we do best in our community. That's what N.A.M.I does best. Make those connections so people don't feel alone.
Well, and they can always reach out to this podcast, and if there's any questions, send us an email, and we'll get you some help.
There you go.
Very good.
There you go.
Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate you coming on, and I look forward to our next meeting anyway, coming soon.
Next meeting, Suicide Prevention Alliance next meeting is Tuesday, May 11th. That's in person or virtually. N.A.M.I meetings are virtually on the second and fourth Monday of the month, in person up in Lakeville in Wayne County on the first and third Thursday of the month. Both of them start at 7 p.m. Give us a call. We'll get you the virtual links if that's what you need.
Everyone's welcome.
Hopefully N.A.M.I is going to start offering some in-person things. We actually, if anybody's interested in talking to us and they'd like to see our faces, we're going to be at the Scranton Chamber Community Block Party.
Oh, that's
on May 7th and 8th.
Yeah, the first Friday.
First Friday on Penn Avenue, Friday evening and Saturday afternoon. We're going to have a table there, so folks can come out and get some more information. Yeah.
All right.
Very good.
Sounds great. Well, thank you. Thank you. It's good information.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity to
you're welcome. You make it easy.
Appreciate it. You did too.
All right. Well, thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I want to thank Owen Dougherty and Marie Onukiavage. I think that was a great discussion today on mental health and the help that's out there. It's very important stuff. Coming out of this pandemic, more than ever, we need people like this, and we need all the help we can get. So N.A.M.I, National Alliance on Mental Illness. Phone number for our local office here is 570-342-1047. You can also visit N.A.M.I on the web at www.NAMI.org. So, look into this stuff. Anybody that needs help, these folks are here to help. There's a tremendous amount of help out there for all kinds of issues. You can go on the county website, click on the Suicide Prevention Alliance, and all these numbers come up. So, take advantage. Next week, we have a good friend of mine coming on, which it's going to be an awesome show. We have Chuck Volpe coming on, so it's his turn behind my camera. We're going to talk about all things politics, the upcoming election, the referendums on the ballot that's going to be there. So it's going to be an awesome show. I don't want you to miss that one. So if you like this episode or any of the other episodes and you'd like to donate, this is all paid for by the Friends of Chris Chermak. So any donations are greatly appreciated. Don't forget to like, share, tell your friends, spread the word, and just get people out there watching Street Level with Chris Chermak. So thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you next week.